They called it a network, but those who looked deeper knew it was something far more organized. It all began quietly, sometime in the early 2010s. Behind closed doors, far from public scrutiny, a coalition of politicians, religious leaders, and strategists gathered with one mission: to reclaim Europe's traditional values. This coalition came to be known as Agenda Europe. No official headquarters, no public office, just a digital trace of private emails, conference invites, and strategic blueprints. Their goal wasn't chaos or profit. It was ideology. They believed Europe had strayed too far from its roots. Issues like same-sex marriage, abortion rights, and gender equality, things that symbolized progress to millions, were to them signs of moral decay. Agenda Europe's members came from dozens of nations like Germany, Poland, Spain, Hungary, and beyond. Among them were politicians, Vatican-linked scholars, and representatives of think tanks that seemed ordinary at first glance. But when researchers uncovered the network in 2014, it revealed a vast ecosystem of influence, a system designed to quietly steer European policies toward a more conservative vision: one decision, one law, one generation at a time. They held secret conferences in Vienna, Munich, and Warsaw. Invitations were private, often hand-delivered. Discussions revolved around crafting laws, drafting manifestos, and influencing elections without ever naming the network itself. Their documents spoke of restoring the natural order, a phrase both poetic and ominous. And while the mainstream media was busy covering Brexit, refugee crises, and shifting governments, Agenda Europe operated in the shadows. Their strategy? Subtle infiltration. A whisper in the Parliament Hall, a clause slipped into a bill, a judge nominated for values alignment. When a leaked document titled "Restoring the Natural Order" surfaced, the world saw the blueprint. It mapped out everything, from how to dismantle pro-LGBT legislation to methods of swaying European Union policy. Each step was meticulous, rooted in decades of organized planning. Critics called it an ultra-conservative conspiracy. Supporters claimed it was a movement of faith and family. But one thing was undeniable: the influence was real. By the late 2010s, their fingerprints appeared across debates on reproductive rights in Poland, anti-gender education laws in Hungary, and funding networks tied to U.S. Christian organizations. Agenda Europe wasn't just a group, it was a web. And yet, just as it rose to prominence, it began to dissolve. Exposure brought light to what once thrived in secrecy. Some members withdrew, others rebranded, and a few disappeared from public record altogether. Still, questions linger. Did Agenda Europe truly disband, or did it simply evolve, splitting into new fronts, under different names, with the same mission? In the end, it's not just a story about power or faith. It's about how easily a small, quiet alliance can shape the destiny of millions without ever stepping into the light.